Today, we are diving into 10-minute vegan meals that are not only quick and easy, but they're also packed with protein. No oil, no nuts, and no animal products, just wholesome, delicious, satisfying meals. Let's go. Let's start with high protein lemon pepper pasta. You'll want to buy high protein pasta. This is the key in making this a high protein meal. You can of course use regular pasta too, but here's the trick. The angel hair pasta variety is what makes all the flavors sink in a little bit deeper. So make sure whatever pasta you buy, that it's angel hair protein if you can. You'll take a pot, start boiling the water, and then we'll add in our pasta. My kids love this recipe. Do not add salt to the cooking water. We will add enough salt later that you do not need it in the cooking water. While the pasta is cooking, we're gonna add all the ingredients for the sauce. Now, instead of oil, I'm going to use aquafaba from a can of chickpeas. If you like olive oil, you can definitely use olive oil instead, but I'm gonna keep it lower in fat by using the aquafaba. It's 1/4 cup of that aquafaba. Next, we'll add 1/4 of a cup of lemon juice. And I have found that that usually is the juice of about 2 large lemons. But if you want to measure it, you can. All right, we'll get those seeds out. Then we'll add 1 tablespoon of dried basil leaves. You can also do fresh if you prefer. Then 1½ teaspoons of garlic powder and 1½ teaspoons of salt. I'm using light salt. I know it's a lot. If you want to do 1 teaspoon instead of 1½, you totally can. Then you'll do 1/2 teaspoon of black pepper. I'm just gonna eyeball this one. And that's it. Let's mix it all together. And then our noodles are done, so let's go ahead and rinse them. You can rinse off the noodles if you like, and then we'll add them back to the pan. Now let's add in our sauce, because it's so good, and mix it around. These are the simplest, most delicious noodles you will ever have. After you've mixed in all of that sauce, then you top it out with 1/2 cup of nutritional yeast. That adds a ton more protein and a lot of flavor. Mix it in. The hardest part of this whole process of just mixing it in so all the pieces have it equally. Go ahead and taste it, and then feel free to add a little bit of salt if you just need a little bit more flavor. My kids love this pasta. I always make sure to serve it with a fruit and a vegetable, so not just pasta alone. But it is so easy, so quick, so delicious. I've even made it with lime juice instead of lemon juice, and it tasted just as delicious. I think I prefer fresh basil over dried basil, but either way, it is so yummy. This next recipe is super fast and simple and delicious. It's called creamy garam masala chickpeas. This is one of the easiest and most delicious recipes of all time. All you do is take a cup of soy milk. Make sure it is unsweetened and unflavored. So no vanilla soy milk, it will mess up the whole flavor. So you need 1 cup of soy milk. And I'm doing this because I want this to be a lot less fat than if I were to add a cup of coconut milk. And so I'll use the soy milk with some coconut extract. So I'm gonna do just a teaspoon, about 1/2 teaspoon, I should say, 1/2 teaspoon of coconut extract. A little bit goes a long way. And that is going to make the same flavor as if I were to put full fat coconut milk inside. Next, we'll add a can of rinsed and drained chickpeas and then cook everything on about medium-high heat. Here is the magic. It is garam masala. So you need some garam masala, and we'll go ahead and add that in. If you have spicy garam masala, so it all depends on the brand and the blend that you are using, you may want to do less than this, but I'm gonna do about a tablespoon, yes, a tablespoon of garam masala. But the beauty is that it's pretty much the only spices that we're using. That's why it's so simple. Now we need more depth of flavor, so we'll add a teaspoon of veggie bouillon paste. Not the bouillon, because we already did the coconut milk, so just the veggie bouillon paste. Kind of mix it in there while it heats up. It'll bring in a lot more flavor for sure. Next, we'll add in a can of petite diced tomatoes with the juices, so all the juices. And to increase the amount of protein, we'll also add a cup of frozen peas. And that's it. It may not be the prettiest thing, but it tastes really good, and it was super easy to put together. Hey, real quick, have you signed up for my free 1-week meal guide? It's linked below, and it has a full week of delicious whole food plant-based recipes that I know you will love. Click on the link below, and I will send it right to your email. It's so good. Now, to keep this meal under 10 minutes, you can use a bag of pre-prepped frozen rice, or I actually have leftover rice I'm gonna use instead. Or you can just cook the rice along with it, and it'll take a little longer than 10 minutes. But just so you know, there's quick ways to go around it. This is leftover rice from a previous dinner, and it's about 2.5 cups. Now the spice is kind of toned down after everything is mixed in. So that's the nice thing. It's not as spicy as it was if you tasted it or adding the spice. We'll just warm this up and then that's it. The other beauty about using soy milk is it's higher in protein. So we have the peas, the chickpeas, the soy milk, everything, it makes it a very high protein quick meal. Go ahead and taste it and add some salt and pepper if needed. I'm just gonna add a little bit here. Turn off the heat and garnish with cilantro and the juice of half of a lemon. You know what I love about this recipe is not only is it delicious, full of flavor, but I can just make it by memory because it's only 1 tablespoon of garam masala. And then I could even just throw in whatever else and it works, it always works. I love having a recipe where I don't have to look at the recipe. So much flavor, but it's also way more mild than the typical curry. Our last recipe is TVP Chili. It's a simple way to increase your protein and it looks just like ground beef. Not to mention, it's super quick to put together. You'll first rehydrate the TVP. Now TVP is textured vegetable protein. It's basically just defatted soy flour. Soy flour, that's all it is. You'll add 1 cup of TVP to a bowl with 1 cup of water. And then you'll take about 2 tablespoons of soy sauce and about 2 tablespoons of nutritional yeast just to give it a little bit more flavor. Let's stir that up and let it rehydrate for about 5 minutes while we put everything else together. Let's put the chili together. We'll turn on our stove to about medium-high heat. We'll add in our onion that's diced, 1 diced onion. I use my chopper to speed up the time. Then it's 6 cloves of garlic. That's gonna be 3 teaspoons. I use minced garlic to save time. Next is 2 tablespoons of chili powder. I'm gonna add in all the spices now. That's 1, that is 2. Then 1 tablespoon of cumin, 1 teaspoon of smoked paprika. And I love the smell of smoked paprika. 2 teaspoons of oregano, just a little tiny 1/4 of a teaspoon of cayenne pepper. If you want to use that, I'm just going to do a quick little boop, that's it. And then 2 teaspoons salt, so 1 and 2. I'm going to go ahead and start mixing everything around. It smells so good. I'm going to add a little bit of water to the pan. Next we'll add 2 tablespoons of tomato paste and 2 tablespoons of maple syrup. Then I will add 1.5 cups of veggie broth. So that is 1.5 teaspoons of paste for me with 1.5 cups of water. Next, we'll add a 15-ounce can of tomato sauce, or if you're like me and don't have tomato sauce at home, you can use the other tomato sauce in a jar. The other tomato sauce. All right, and then you'll just do about 2 cups. 2, look how perfect this is, getting rid of my extra sauce that I always have in the fridge because my kids open it for like 1 serving, and then they open another jar, and I always have these open cans in my fridge. Perfect. Now we just gotta open up the can of beans. We have 1 can of black beans, 1 can of kidney beans. Add both those cans, and then a can of petite diced tomatoes. And we will finish everything off just like how we started with the TVP. Should be perfectly absorbed, looks great. Let's pour it in. Now we got ourselves some meaty, delicious chili. Never even know that there's no saturated fat, no cholesterol, super high in protein, super thick, delicious chili. Turn off the heat, garnish with some lime and cilantro. Looks so good. Such a good chili. I can kind of taste that I use Prego. Prego has like a certain taste, so maybe just use regular tomato sauce and don't do what I did. But it's honestly so good. No one else will be able to know. It's just me. Really good. It's a great chili. It's super meaty. You would have no idea this is TVP. No idea. Now remember, with all of these recipes today, this is the main meal. You still will want to add a fruit and a veggie to the meal along with it.
2 thumbs up.
If you love these recipes, I know you'll absolutely love my other videos where I show you 15-minute vegan meal ideas. So make sure to check those out as well. This can be easy, this can be fun, and this can be delicious to eat more plants.